Hello and welcome to all of you astrology friends. Welcome to this reading is for the monthly horoscope for May, and I'm going to talk about it in general a tiny little bit and then looking at the 12 signs. Actually, it's all about one particular sign that May is all about, and it's about the sign of Taurus. There is like a traffic jam in it, and so we all have, you could say, of course, like, oh, Taurus, I don't have any planet in that sign, but we have it all in our horoscope. So there's definitely a lot of energy available, a lot of opportunities available when it comes to the sign of Taurus during the whole month of May. The things I'm going to talk about is shortly. First of all, Jupiter. Jupiter, the planet Jupiter in Taurus, around and about the 17th of the month. This is huge. I mean, each year Jupiter goes into a different sign, and now it's in Taurus. So I'm going to talk about that. Of course, I'm going to make a separate video. I think next week, I'm going to make a separate video of that, because that in itself, you can talk like hours about that. Secondly, that again, Jupiter is going to conjoin with the North Node. That is very, very specific and very, very interesting to know what this is all about. The third thing is, of course, we've got an eclipse as well. And guess what? It's in the opposite sign of Taurus, which is in Scorpio. So it's going to be the moon. It's a lunar eclipse. So it's going to be the moon in Scorpio and the sun in Taurus with Uranus there. Very, very interesting. And last but not least, Mercury is going direct in where? Well, in the sign of Taurus again. So Mercury goes direct around and about the 16th at 5 degrees of Taurus. So it's actually going to be very simple for me to explain this, because it's all about this one particular area of your life when I come back to the 12 signs. But in general, what does this mean? I mean, collectively. And I hope that people listen to this introduction. But anyway, it's their own choice, because there's so much information in it. This is all about quality. This is all about safety. This is all about stability. This is all about us seeking for all these things. This is all about the senses, not the sensuous, but the senses, sensuality, loving the little things of life. So I'm talking about Taurus traits that are very positive now. Luxury. Why is luxury associated with Taurus? Because Taurus wants to be comfortable. It wants to feel the fabrics, you know, the silk fabrics. It wants to look at a beautiful diamond, you know, with D quality, not with M quality or whatever, but with the D quality, with flawless and with a very, very well cut diamond. You see, all these things I'm thinking about. There's the 4 C's, isn't there? When we're talking about diamonds, what is the other one? Just someone who knows, write it in the comments. I'm really interested in that. Anyway, it's also about realness. It's also about rawness, real things, practical things, not like all fluffy in the air. It's about realness. It's about a good steak with a good glass of wine. Or if you're a vegetarian, with a good salad or a good, I don't know, cheese stuff or whatever it is, something that we enjoy. Taurus is a lot about enjoyment. And it's a lot about, you know, these things that make our lives very earthly, right? It's an earth sign. It's very earthly. It's down to earth. It's grounded. So we're all going to have that kind of energy being awakened. Of course, with the eclipses here as well, it shows that, and remember, the North Node is in Taurus. So it means that we all have to go towards that Taurian energy. We all have to go towards like, I own this. This is mine. You know, like in the Nemo movie, mine, mine, mine. This is mine. I own it. I own these talents. This is who I am. I am the prize. You know, that is like all the Taurian energy in a very positive way. And a negative, every sign has a negative side as well. And we all know that the downside of Taurus is rigidity. It's stubbornness. It's also not wanting to get out of the comfort zone, even if their situation as they know it, is even worse than any new situation. They're going to stick to the old bad situation because they're so used to habits and comfort. So that is the downside of the Taurian. They will stick to, they are the signs, together with the Scorpios as well, that will stick the longest to toxic relationships, to situations that are absolutely not suiting them. But they're so used to it and they're so stuck to the routines that they know that they, they have a bit of a, they are slower in shutting down the door and just going, not like an Aries would do. An Aries is when a door shuts down, they say goodbye, thank you very much. They are angry. It gets them very, they are angry and they say, one door shut down is 10 new doors and off you go. But with a Taurus, it goes a little bit more slowlier. They need a little bit more time to process. And because it's a fixed sign, and fixed signs have a meaning here on planet Earth, and it is stability. When things are stable, they're not going to be all over the place. So everything has a good side and a not so good side. But let's stick to the good side of all these Taurian qualities of wanting to have stability, quality, and all of that in our lives, and financial security, but also emotional security, feeling good, being well fed. It's the basics, and being healthy and enjoying yourself and being healthy so you can have lots of chocolate. All these kind of things are every once in a while, of course. And so these are all those qualities. With the North Node there, it shows that, our planet, the environment, all these things, to take care of it, to take care of Mother Earth, to also respect everything that is surrounded, everything that has to do with nature is a very Taurian thing. And to be in nature, to have a picnic in nature with beautiful cutlery and with beautiful glasses, that is also Taurian energy. So we are invited to tap into that. And with the North Node, we are invited to go into those qualities. Now, remember, an eclipse is about the South Node as well. And the South Node will be with the lunar eclipse, with Scorpio. So the moon will be with the South Node. This always shows something needs to go first. Something needs to be transformed. This is a lunar eclipse that is all about letting go of old values and going towards new values, letting go of what other people think. Scorpio is the 8th house. Taurus is the 2nd house. Scorpio is about what other people value. It's the emotional, financial, psychological support that you get from others. It's also the 8th house in Scorpio. Taurus is what you give to you. It's your confidence. It's your self-confidence. It's what comes from the self, because you earned it. You earned those talents. You have explored them. You earn money with them. That's all 2nd house. The 8th house is the value of others. So when we have to let go of that 8th house and that Scorpio energy, and specifically with the moon, it means that we need to let go of something that we are very used to. Scorpio is also a fixed sign. We are very used to it, but it has served us, but we need to let go of it. We're outgrown, you could say. Scorpio is about transformation, and it's about letting go of that, although it is painful, although it is like, I've always known it. Scorpio and Taurus, it's all about value. It's all about what we value in life. So something very specific that has been of value for maybe years and years and years. We need to let go of that. It's transformation. It's faith. It's karmic cycle that ends here, and we have something new. So, and for everyone, it's going to be different depending on the houses. I'll get back to that in a minute. But also with that eclipse, Uranus is involved. So there is a sudden energy here as well with the eclipse. So a sudden event. It's not just an eclipse. It's like something goes away and immediately something new comes. It's like, for instance, you have to get out of your apartment. I'm just giving a simple example. You have to get out of your apartment because the landlord is saying, look, I'm going to live in it, So you have to do that. You have like a deadline of 14 days and you have to look like, but immediately something new comes in. A friend of a friend says, oh, I know something. And actually it turns out to be even better because that's Uranus. It wants liberation. It wants freedom. And actually afterwards, you're going to say, I should have done that earlier. You know, it wasn't that difficult. That's the energy that we are in. Of course, also with the Mercury going direct, it shows that when it comes to contracts, when it comes to communication, when it comes to information, of course, this Mercury is also in that sign of Taurus, wanting to know the truth and the realness of stuff. So also that is going to come a bit more, not a bit more, but a lot more interesting to know what's going on. And that will be around the 16th. So, and the eclipse is also around that timing, isn't it? The eclipse is, no, on the 5th of the month. So first we have the eclipse, then we have the Mercury retrograde going direct around the 16th. And the conjunction, now Jupiter in Taurus, isn't that amazing? Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, meaningfulness, purposefulness, all these things. That planet is going to shift into Taurus. So all the things that I just mentioned about the sign of Taurus, I did that on purpose because that's the purpose of the sign. That's the purpose of understanding that sign. And we are going to find more purpose in all these things because Jupiter is the planet of purpose, wisdom, growth, expansion. So in that sign, it's only going to get bigger. So, although Jupiter is the planet of growth, in a sign like Taurus, it's going to be a very earthly growth. So I mean, manifesting intangible things. You know, it's a bit different than if it's in a sign like Pisces, for instance. Then it is more growth towards like spirituality and whatnot, the things that we can't really touch, but are there nevertheless. But now it's about really tangible things that we have opportunity to expand there and to become, you know, that we can grow through that. And something new and fresh and destined is also to appear that is going to give us first out of the comfort zone, but then ridiculously getting us into a better zone, which is with Jupiter and the North Node. Now, when Jupiter and the North Node comes into Taurus, and it's in the first kind of degrees, of course, right? It's at 0 degrees, and the North Node is like 5 degrees, 4 degrees, 3 degrees, like something like that. So it's very close conjunction here because the North Node goes backwards. So they're going to meet each other, Jupiter and the North Node. It shows that blessings. It shows whenever we have that in our natal chart, like Jupiter crossing the North Node, it's like we learn something new. You know, Jupiter is all about learning, expansion, growing, traveling. And because of that, our viewpoint is going to become bigger. And when your viewpoint becomes bigger, the situation can still be hard, but it's more bearable, right? When we know the bigger picture, we know what's going on there. Knowledge is you could say, so valuable then. So what a month this is, right? And this is all happening in that sign of realness. Another thing I wanted to say is that the Saros cycle is still, of the eclipse, is 7 north. So it's the same as Saros cycle as the eclipse that is going on around the 21st of April, which is in Aries. But that is all about this passion. The passion that we're hidden, it comes up here. And we're going to have a lot of energy of that exploring. So let's get into it. You know, it's, of course, another thing I wanted to mention. So I'm going to mention where these houses fall, the 2nd house and the 8th house, the 2nd house, you could say the Taurian house and the Scorpio house. But a little extra that I'm going to talk about is the aspect that is also quite rare, and that is happening between the 14th and the 21st of the month. So that is the pocket of time when you're going to feel this the most. It's the Jupiter square Pluto. So when Jupiter enters the sign of Taurus, immediately it's going to bump into a square to Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. What does it mean? It's very significant. Jupiter and Pluto are big combinations. It's like expansive, transformational growth. In a square, it means that it demands adjustment. So it's a bit, how would you say? You have to do effort. You have to do effort in understanding it, and you have to do effort to wanting to transform. You know, if you don't want to transform, you resist, it becomes even harder. So this Jupiter square Pluto is full of information for expansion, full of it. And it's grounded. It's expansion and transformation, not just for a month or two, it's for a lifetime, you know, in these fixed signs. So I'm going to explore that as well, where that is going to occur in your chart. So let's get started. It's going to be very simple, you know, only one house is like, very, very important, but let's explore this. For Aries, for the sign of Aries, Taurus is your second house. So for Aries, this is all about this emphasis of improving, of opportunities, of yes, being uncomfortable, but getting out of the comfort zone. It's all the second house. So lots of you, especially with Jupiter in the North Node, here in your second house is opportunity to earn more money. It's the most practical thing, but I've seen it time and time again, that there is a huge opportunity to earn more money. And it's because of your own efforts. It's because like you go for a new job, for instance, and you earn 2 times more. I hope that is the case for you, for many of you. On another level, this has to do with your talents, and this has to do with you feeling good about yourself. It's the transformation that has to do with you feeling good about yourself because you are who you are. And that eclipse that is happening in the opposite house is about letting go of what other people think. Letting go of what other people think. Letting go of like friends that you always counted on and that you always tried to please them or whatever it is, or you're not going to do that anymore because you go for your own talents, you go for your own worth. And yes, you will have to every now and then say, I'm not going to do that anymore. And of course, you're going to lose some friends or you're going to lose some people when you do that. But you know that it is because of the realness and the reality of you, right? If you have been pleasing and not being real with people, the result is that people, you know, you're going to get the same. So this is huge. This is fantastic. So not only on a financial level, also on a stability level, you of all the signs have great opportunity to enhance your financial situation, your emotional situation, your security sense, whatever that means for you, to enhance it ridiculously, right? And that is because of your own efforts. That is about what you've done, and you've done it, no one else. And that is a beautiful thing, for sure. But this squares up to the house of the 11th house of friends. That's why I was talking about this example with a friend, right? So this Jupiter squares up to Pluto. So there could be someone in the friend zone or someone there that is the relationship's shifting. It is shifting, and it can be for better or for worse, you know, whatever it is. With Pluto, the reality, running away from reality, don't do it. You know, when that comes, it's only going to make it harder. So if the reality is that friend you always thought was not so good for you, and now all of a sudden, because of circumstances, these are eclipses, circumstances happen. Like for instance, the moon and the eclipse in the 8th house, it could be something is happening that is a crisis of whatever the sort is. And a friend that you thought was never there, all of a sudden is there. So that is the change that it makes it. And it's like, I don't understand it. But you understand yourself better, and you understand that friend better, and that is a transformation that you're doing. And because of that, you feel more worthiness, you feel more seen in a real way, and that builds up your sense of self. So, but it can also be the other way, you know, that you're in a crisis, and a friend that you always thought, that you always helped out, that you always supported, is just letting you down. And don't take it personal. That is a very big thing for the Aries person. I know Aries people, they usually take things very personal. But, you know, it's the more you're going to do that, the more it's going to be painful. But bottom line is, for you, there is something new here occurring. Also with family, there could be developments, that there is like more positivity coming in here. But definitely saying goodbye to something that is no longer suiting you, that is very emotional for you, and that you were very attached towards. Taurians, dear Taurians, first of all, for a lot of you who have a birthday in May, happy birthday. But what a month this is for you. My goodness me. And we have like a new moon on the 19th as well at 28 degrees of Taurus. So it's really your month, and it's really everything that I said in the beginning applies for you. So I'm not going to repeat it. But what I didn't mention yet was that this axis of the first house and the 7th house is your relationship axis. So this is all about your key areas of your life. And first and foremost, you versus other people. You and your relationship. So you are one of those signs that, yes, with the eclipse in your 7th house of relationships, this could mean indeed. Only don't panic if you're saying, Veerle, my relationship is going well. Don't think that this relationship is going to end. No, but I'm talking to the people that have bad relationships, toxic relationships. There is an opportunity to let that go, for sure, with that eclipse in your 7th house, and to go towards me, and I'm strong, and I see who I am, and I know my worth. It could really mean the time for you that you make drastic decisions. Otherwise, it could also mean that when you are single, when you are in a relationship, that is fairly good, you know, fairly with the ups and downs in a fairly normal way. Well, what is normal? But anyway, this could mean that something happens in the life of that person that is transformative, that is going to have a knock-on effect on you as well. So for better or for worse, you know, that depends on your situation. But you're feeling this already. This is not new, this energy, because these eclipses have been going on for quite a while. And definitely the strength and the expansion lies within you. With Jupiter and the North Node in your sign, I advise every Taurian to go for themselves, and to, of course, not in a selfish way of, yeah, I don't care. No, but to really put yourself first, and then see what's going on. To not, like, you know, knowing your worth. It all boils down to that. It all boils down to that. So all of a sudden, you could be really liberating yourself. When you are single, this could definitely mean that your attitude towards relationship is totally shifting. And because of that, you're attracting something very, very new in your life. And because there's so much newness going on within you, it is normal that you're going to attract a different person. Now, this Jupiter squares up to your Pluto. So another very important house, which is your work. So there could be something drastic happening in the work area as well. Something that you know that has been going on for a while, and that you know is no longer working for you. Whether it is literally your job that you're quitting, or whether it is a drastic change that you make into your behavior towards work, right? Maybe you're going to outsource something. Maybe you are going to put more energy into work or less energy, depending on your energy situation. This is transformation for sure. So what a month. Let's go to Geminis. Geminis, this is happening in your 12th house, the 12th house to the 6th house. So these are the houses that people don't know what's going on there, and you barely know it. Why is that? Because the 12th house is a very unconscious house. It's the house of the Piscean house, you could say, the house of letting go, the house of the untangible world, the house of relaxation, the house of sleep, the house of the blind spots. We don't know what's going on, but other people see it. And this letting go energy, what we need to let go, this scorpionic, like what is no longer suiting us, is the 6th house. So these are definitely the health houses. So for a lot of Geminis, this is about health issues that you already have, and that you can get rid of by doing routines that are not good for you. whatever it is. It can be a small one, it can be a big one, but the 6th house is the day-to-day stuff that you do on a day-to-day level, the routines that you do, the work. It can be a work as well. So a lot of you are going to quit their job and are going to say like, I'm going, you know, to a different country and to relax and to take some vacation. Thank you very much. There could be a lot of people doing, a lot of Geminis doing that. But a lot of you could just let go of a certain way of doing things and certain routines that are no longer suiting you, and going a bit more towards the release of old patterns that are no longer suiting you. It's a lot about karmic patterns for you. Karmic patterns that you've inherited from generation to generation that are no longer suiting you. And Taurus is a lot about safety. So that you do because you want to get the control, and it's no good for you, and you need to release that. And here is a huge opportunity to do that. This squares up this Jupiter in your 12th house, which is definitely, it's definitely help that you're getting from the unseen world. I know this sounds a little bit blah, 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 but it's definitely that. And it squares up to Pluto. So this has to do with your faith as well. So your faith is tested here. Your faith and how you view the world. There is a transformation going on here. And that is truly, truly beautiful. So let go of those old patterns. And all of a sudden, they can free you up. And that is very beautiful. Cancerians. This is happening in the 11th house. And these eclipses and all this energy, it is sextiling your energy. So Cancer and Taurus, it's easygoing. So all these things are a bit more in your favor than other signs. And also this eclipse in Scorpio, Scorpio trines your energy, which is very fluently energy towards your Cancerian energy. And it's in very jolly houses, in very social houses as well. This Taurian energy is in your 11th house, which is the house of your hopes, your wishes for the future, your friend circle. There's a lot happening there. There's a lot of new stuff happening. But first of all, something needs to go. And that is the 5th house where Scorpio is. So old ways of how you enjoy yourself, old ways of how you love, right? Because it's also the love affair energy in the 5th house. And with love affairs, I mean love. When you are single, for instance, you start in the 5th house. It's where it all starts. That is like the love. The love starts there, and then the 7th house is commitment. So 5th house energy is not necessarily commitment energy, but there is something about that heart chakra that you need to let go of. That it's toxic for you. That is not healthy for you, and that could have been a habit towards a certain. The 5th house is a house of play. So whatever you do for play that is not healthy, that needs, you have an opportunity to let go of that. Whether it is gambling, whether it is, you know, you doing stuff with love affairs that are not really healthy for you, you know, all that kind of stuff that is actually, that is for pleasure, but you are undermining yourself. These things here have an opportunity to let go of. And your future is towards the 11th house, which is your true, right, down-to-earth goals for the future. And also some connections with friends or like-minded people that are going to help you to go towards the future there and to be more realistic and to be more down-to-earth and to be more healthy. So a beautiful opportunity there. When you have your own business, the 11th house is also a financial house. So if you have your own business with Jupiter and a North Node, there is new opportunity for growth. Whether that is because you do something new, whether also it could be networking. Networking, it could be someone, a friend, you could say, or a connection that via turns out to be very, very valuable for you, for your business, for instance. So very good to expand your business, very good to grow. And it could have been because of your own efforts, right? Because you worked very hard over the years, and now Jupiter in your 11th house is like very expansive. Doing things in group is very positive for you. Not only to connect with like-minded people, but also if you have your own business, it's also a very positive energy. This 11th house is squaring up to your 8th house. So the Pluto is in the 8th house. So this is all about this transformation and the toxicity that you understand now from yourself and others that you are involved with that needs to let go of. So there's a lot of healing here for sure with Pluto in your 8th house, and a lot of connections that were toxic, whether they were friends, and what is toxic, it's like with not healthy boundaries, right? Either you invested too much in them and they didn't do anything, or the other way around. That needs to go here with this energy. And you have an opportunity. You don't have to, but you have an opportunity to do that. Leos, how important is that month for you? And it's all about the highest point of your horoscope, which is associated with career. If you don't have a career, it's associated with how people see you, how social, your role in society, let's put it that way, and also your connection with parents. So there is like something expanding there, opportunity there, newness there, but first and foremost, something needs to let go in that 4th house, which is where Scorpio is in the South Node. So you could have to let go of something that always emotionally was very important for you, very secure, but you need to let go of that. Now, literally, this could be your home, that because of a new job, you have to leave home, for instance, or you have to go towards a new home. But also it could mean like your connection is shifting with parents. Your connection is shifting in how you see your role, exploring for the future when it comes to your career. And if you don't have that career, your energy that you exude in society, right? This is so important as well. So very much a lot of opportunities for new jobs. If you are a Leo that is saying my job is just like, there's a lot of opportunity there. When a lot of Leos are saying the home here that I'm in, I need to renovate, I need to sell or whatever, huge opportunities here for sure. And it could all go very, very fast. So if you do want to have a new job, go for the Uranian job, go for the job, internet, online, things like that. And that is for the collective, that is serving the, in your innovative way, the collective side, you could say. This squares up to Pluto in your 7th house. So your relationships are transforming as well. So that could be a little bit of a stress there, yes, but very important for you to know that toxicity and balance of power is very important for you in connections. So with balance of power, I mean, approximately 50-50 is fantastic. When it's going to be like that, someone is overpowering you and controlling you, or you are trying to do that to your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, it's not going to work with this Pluto, because it doesn't want that. It wants realness, real relationships, not with control and whatnot and manipulation. It's not going to work. So this could be really coming up because of those changes that are happening in your career sector, or in your, how you feel that you want to serve the world, right? Of course, that sounds, you want to serve the world, but you know what I mean. Virgos, this is really a nice energy. Me being a Virgo myself, hanging in the sun in Virgo, is really looking forward to the energy. And you already feel some of that energy, because as I record this, there are already some planets in Taurus, Mercury there, and it's preparing for its retrograde and whatnot. So it's definitely a very expansive energy for you, notwithstanding, and especially when Mercury goes direct for you, right? So that will be around the 16th. You're going to feel that things are really, your ruler is going forwards, and you're really going to feel that. Now, the 9th house, so it's a time for you to travel. It's a time for you to learn, to explore, it's so hopeful. It's so hopeful for sure, to teach, to write, to study, all of these things are so much stimulated, and it's all for the bigger picture, understanding the world in a bigger way, you know, knowledge, and stepping aside a little bit from your third house. So you could say connections with siblings, people in your neighborhood. Something is shifting there. You need to let go of something. You could need to let go of a connection with siblings, the neighborhood, that you were always very strongly attached to with Scorpio there, but it could be some toxicity there. You need to let go of that. You need to not fall into the trap of the scorpionic, controlling, manipulative energy, whether you are doing that to a sibling or the other way around. You need to detach there to do that. And you're going to, because of this beautiful energy in your ninth house that is trining your energy, that is all about, I see the bigger picture, I see the future, and I'm optimistic about it because I want to grow and I want to explore and I want to expand and I want to learn more. I want to learn a language. I want to learn this. I want to learn that, and blah, blah, blah. And off you go. And it gives a lot of energy, you know, because these are the fire houses. The ninth house is a fire house. It's the house of the Sagittarian. It's the house of, even when you would be traveling now, you are going to learn so much. You are going to explore so much. And it could mean, in the long run, become something very important as well. Now, this squares up to Pluto in your sixth house. So this is about the transformation of routines that you were doing that were not so good for you, right? And I think as it's the Virgo house, so you're going to know what I'm talking about. It could be a certain routine that is not the best for you and that you can transform here. And it definitely has to do with health, mental health, physical health, that you are trying to transform here. And it is a bit in a way that you explore there. And it is a bit frustrating because it's tense energy. It's in a square. But you will do fine because you're one of the signs, you together with the Capricorns, that is having tons of trine energy coming toward you, which is like easygoing. So do travel, do read it. If you're not traveling, read at least a book or two to explore and to expand. It's lovely energy. Librans, this is in your eighth house. The eighth house versus the second house. And all this newness is in your eighth house with Jupiter there, the North Node, all in the eighth house. This is definitely expansion when it comes to how other people feel about you. And you're going to like that because Libra in itself is ruled by Venus and they want to please. They are a natural person that takes into account other people. That is their nature. That is their temperament. And when Jupiter goes into the eighth house together with the North Node, it could mean that someone is helping you out, that you're getting resources from someone else. That is, it's a bit karmic there. So they have to do, if you're saying like, oh, this person is doing too much, you know, it's karmic. They had a debt towards you, you could say. But of course, within the healthy boundaries, right? If someone is wanting to give you you know, $100,000, maybe there's something really strange going on. You know, be down to earth, and but it could simply mean that someone is helping you out financially, emotionally, psychologically, or with their knowledge, they can help you with something, you know, and this is really lovable energy, Jupiter in your eighth house. It could also mean an inheritance. It could also mean tax returns, loans that, you know, you don't have to pay for them anymore. It's the end of it, all these kind of things. So it's definitely for you, stepping away from always the hustling and the doing, and you are trying to find confidence because you do things. It's more towards lay back a little bit in your feminine energy, really, and to, you know, let the good stuff come to you. Of course, in a reasonable way, right? Sometimes I have to say the opposite to people, but for you, like when you look at that chart, it's a bit more about trusting what other people can do for you. Ask for help and let people help you. It's a lovely thing, right? If you help others, it's a lovely feeling. Well, give other people also that possibility of them feeling good because they help you out, right? So be open for that. It's also death and rebirth. So A lot of people could be dealing with that energy, that of rebirth of stuff. Also investments and so on. There is like some positive energy here coming up. And so, yes, when you do real estate or things like that, and there could be something positive here. This energy does square though with the 5th house. So where Pluto is, the transformation for you is definitely of not being too passionate, which is obsessive, in your love, in the love area, right? Because the 5th house is what you love. It's the hobbies that you love. It's the projects that you love. It's your children. It's the romance, all of that. There is something that you are going to be a bit more inclined to try to control that. But the trick is to not do that so that it comes to you. So it's a lot about getting in your feminine energy for sure for the Librans. And you will be able to do that. I'm sure of that. Scorpios, what an important time for you, especially for your relationships. This is all happening in your 7th house. Wow. When you were a single Scorpio, yes, this means that someone is there, whether you like it or not, is approaching you. There's new energy coming in. Be open for that. But with the South Node and the eclipse in your sign, it means that you have to let go of an old identity. The identity of being single for like maybe 10 years. You need to let go of that if you want to step into a relationship. The identity of I am strong and I don't want to be vulnerable. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but anyway, you have to let go of that. You have to be vulnerable if you want to connect with people. Of course, you're not going to do that for everyone. You use your gut feeling. You use the feeling not of fear, but of intuition. And all Scorpios have a high dose of that. But sometimes fear can interfere. Fear can interfere. And then it becomes a bit more tricky. And so know that parts of you you need to let go of some parts of you that have been serving you for a long time. And these are defense mechanisms. You don't change them overnight. But, you know, the brain is plastic, or how do they say that? So you can do this. And the trigger, you could have a really important person coming into your life who triggers you, who is a bit of a mentor and a coach. Whether it is a lover, romantic partner, business partner, there is someone there appearing. If you are in a relationship, it could mean that you're getting an upgrade here. You can step a bit more further in this relation, right? You can go up a level. Whenever I had the North Node in my 7th house, I got pregnant, right? You could say the 7th house is the relationship, but on a higher level, you know, on a more commitment level. And Taurus is about real stuff. It's about realness. So don't worry if you don't want to get pregnant. It's just an example, right? But definitely opportunities here to connect with others. But first, you need to do something with the self. You need to let go of all parts of you, right? Like all men are bad. For instance, you had a toxic relationship and now the narratives that you're saying to yourself, all men are bad, or all women are bad, all women are bitches, or you need to let go of that before you can open up and see what's in front of you with this Jupiter in the North Node. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. The 7th house is squaring up to the 4th house where Pluto is. So there is a transformation. It's emotional security. So that is a bit tricky there for you, that the emotional security, looking for it outwardly, it's not going to help. You have to give it to yourself. Being your own best parent is always the thing that I say when people are having this Pluto in the 4th house. So old things and old stuff can come up, old things that were buried deep inside of you. So when you're getting triggered, probably again by another person, know that it is an opportunity. And uncomfortable, yes, but an opportunity to heal. A lot of healing here through your connections, for sure. Sagittarians, this is happening in your 6th house. A lot of newness there, a lot of newness, a lot of energy there, a lot of habits, routines. Spend time to renew them, to expand them. Your work as well, it's going to grow. You're going to find more purpose in it. And because Jupiter is you, and you're shifting into a new sign in a new house. So you are becoming really Taurian-like, right? Jupiter is your ruler, but certainly when you have an ascendant in Sagittarius, but also if you have the sun and also the moon, Jupiter is ruled by it, and it's now in Taurus. So you are shifting into Taurus. So what I said in the beginning is super, super important for you, because you are going to embody those energies more. When Jupiter was in Aries, like the last year, it was all about new things, beginning with new things. And it was in the house that for you, where it was in, it was those new beginnings, those pioneering, those startups that you had to do. And now is the grounding. Now is the reality. It's the good stuff, right? It's about you getting real, you enjoying yourself, all these things. But in the 6th house, so in your day-to-day life, when you're doing your routines, when you're working, Jupiter in the 6th house is always finding more purpose. So if you're someone who's really not finding purpose in your job, who's really, my God, what is the purpose of my life? With Jupiter in the 6th house, it's work. It's you doing work, you being of service for others, and something that you like and that is really Taurian-like, which is like high quality, offering someone high quality standards, whether it is through a product, through a service, whatever it is. This is huge opportunity for you for sure. Also your health, you could improve it by doing some good routines, by doing some positive, real stuff that is related to food, you know, Taurus, that is related to exercises, you know, all that kind of things. And what you need to let go of is the Scorpio in the 12th house. It's old patterns. It's old patterns from generation, you know, passed over from generation to generation, defensive mechanisms, toxic energy, the 12th house in Scorpio, all that, to release it and to say it has served me many, many years with the lunar eclipse there. But thank you very much. I'm going to release it. This is no longer me. And the things I do the self-undoing, right? The things that you do to escape life that are not so healthy for you. You have a huge opportunity to let go of that. Like addictions, this is a very good energy to deal with an addiction, for sure. You know, the releasing of the old way, how you coped and survived, which was toxic, but which was, of course, a result of trauma, crisis, whatever. And now going towards more healthiness, simpleness, you know, simple Taurian energy. Very good energy for you indeed. This squares up to Pluto in the 3rd house. So what needs to be transformed is your mind, the way that you communicate, the way you talk to people. Certain connections as well, connections with siblings, connections with people around you. They need to transform. There is something that needs to be different, that needs to let go of before you can make it healthier. So very interesting energy for sure. Capricorns, you're just like the Virgos in a pretty good state here. I mean, in general, of course, because you are a fellow earth sign, just like Taurus. And this is all happening in one of my favorite houses, which is the 5th house. It's the house of joy. It's the house of happiness. It's the house of what am I doing to enjoy myself, to feel, to express myself, right? Whether it is through art, whether it is through creativity, whether it is to your own projects, whether it is through the connection with the children that you have or creating children, whether it is through sex, through playfulness, through romance, all these things are highlighted. It's one of the, you know, even if a lot of other things are going on in your horoscope, but you're having Jupiter and the North Node in your 5th house. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's like a whole new world can open up for you that has to do with expression. So express yourself is definitely key here for you. Definitely. And getting away from that 11th house, which is releasing maybe a toxic connection with a friend or friends. Release it. Don't try to force it, chase it, whatever it is. If it's not there, it's not there. It's nothing personal. You're not aligned anymore. The sooner you're seeing that, Also with goals that are no longer suiting you. Maybe you're having that goal of, oh yeah, I have to start my own business, or oh yeah, I have to, you know, become a ballerina, and you're like 64, right? You know, I exaggerate, but you know, it's to make you understand that sometimes when we stick to those goals that are, no, we undermine ourselves. You know, go towards the expressing of your heart. Go towards those hobbies. And if you don't know how to do it, if you say, Veerle, I'm single and you're talking there about romance and blah, 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 start with the self. Start with what is it as a child, because it's the Leo house here, that you loved to do. Let's say as a child, you loved to knit, or you loved to sew. You love to do all these things. Pick it up again. It's something creative. It's with Taurus, with beauty, with quality. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I have this now Jupiter in my 5th house, and it's really that energy for sure. And I've seen it many, many times, not only referring to myself, but when I see Jupiter transiting the 5th house, wow, it's like enjoy yourself. For those of you who are thinking about creating a business, do so with backwards and forwards. And yes, Mercury goes backwards and forwards there, but do so. Create your own business. Do something that you want to do that is very much you. That is your little baby, so to speak. Do it. You're going to, by creating, you're going to open up your heart chakra, and that's good. That's why it's there. That's the reflection of this Jupiter in your 5th house. So even if people are having the most difficult challenges when Jupiter transits the 5th house, it's some kind of, you can find purpose, Jupiter. Remember in the beginning that I said Jupiter is all about purpose. You can find purpose in doing 5th house stuff. You know, all these things that you love to do, hobbies and entertainment. You know, go to the theater, go to, you know, whatever, a restaurant, a cafe, having some drinks, and so on. The square is to the 2nd house, though, with Pluto. So mind your money. So don't give all your money to a hobby that is overly expensive, right? That kind of stuff. Just be realistic with this. And the transformation is with your self-worth as well. Feel worthy to do all these things. Aquarians, this is super, super important for you. This is a super important time because this relates all to your emotions and your emotional stability. All this Taurian energy. There's new energy for you available to feel more at home, literally at your home, right? You could be literally going to a bigger home, Jupiter in the 4th. You could literally go to a better place, so to speak. And a beautiful place because it's Taurus after all. Or you could be literally having more ease at home and finding more purpose at home, especially when you work at home. You could find more purpose there. And if it's not that, it's definitely finding more purpose with caring for yourself, with doing those little things for yourself, like being a parent for yourself, being a mom for yourself. That's Jupiter in the 4th house, you know, making that nice cup of coffee with a lot of focus there, just to enjoy yourself, and or to watch a very good movie with a good glass of wine, or with a good piece of cake in front of the television, and you're putting out your cell phone. They cannot disturb you, and you just enjoy your home. That is very much this energy. So for a lot of Aquarians, if they find that they were emotionally unstable, there's good energy coming for you. That's shifting. And this is really, really good. What you need to detach yourself from, or to need to let go of, could be a toxic connection with work, or with a boss, literally, a toxic connection there, or with a work that is no longer serving you, or with a parent, you know, a shift, a transformation in that connection, a healing process that you are going through with your connection with a parent. It could also mean that you need to let go of some old views of how you see that you work and your position in the world. And that goes all through that transformation of the self as well, because it squares up to Pluto. Pluto in your sign, how you are dealing with that, dear Aquarians. Put it in the comments. I'm really curious about, I'm hearing some really interesting stuff there with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarians really are waking up to that surrendering energy of like, the things that are out of my control, I need to surrender so that I can step into authenticity. It's a lot about authenticity for Aquarians, you know. The Aquarians that have been people pleasing for their whole life, my goodness me, this is a wake-up call. And it's about courage, and it's a beautiful thing in the end, although it demands a lot of getting out of that comfort zone. But it starts for you with empowering, strengthening your emotional setup, and that is good energy that you're getting. Last but not least, Pisceans, this is in your third energy. So all the newness that I was talking about, the Taurian energy, is in your third house. Taurus and Pisces go well with each other, and the Scorpion eclipse is in a fellow water house. So you're just like the Cancerians in a pretty good place. So that newness that you need to allow, or it's good that you allow it, is in the practical way of how you think, how you process information, how you communicate. There is newness there. And also in your connections with siblings, in your connections with the third house is siblings, neighbors. There is like opportunity there. You could be, a sibling can help you out with something very difficult, or a neighbor or someone in the neighborhood could help you out and become very important now. Or a short trip could be really, really successful for you in the long run. Learning something very basic, very practical can become so important for the future. So whether that is a language that you're learning, whether that is a practical thing like driving or knitting, whatever it is, it can serve you in the long run. So the third house is also learning and teaching. It could also be the other way around, you organizing workshops, online courses. You know, why do I say online? Because it's Uranus that is there as well. So all these things, if you have your own business, this is amazing. If you have your own business with Jupiter in the third house, this is expanding in your PR, in the communication sector, in your PR, your social contacts, your website, and expanding, I mean, with Jupiter there, maybe you had a website and you are writing in your own language. And now you were doing this in many, many languages, or you were doing YouTube videos just in English, and now you're doing them in 5 languages, or maybe in 2 languages, whatever it is, right? You're expanding. There is a lot of expansive energy, and it's really interesting that you're growing, you're finding purpose through learning. So learn a lot of new things. Don't be afraid of learning new things, no matter what the age is. The opposite house, the 9th house, where Scorpio is, so you need to let go of old beliefs that you had that are not healthy for you, that are toxic even. So old beliefs, what could that be? Like, I'm way too old to have a new job. Could be a toxic belief and an undermining belief. That's certainly not realistic, or you have to review it. Or like, you know, those beliefs that undermine us, that are based on fears, that you need to let go of, so that you can go through that opportunity of growth, of happiness, enjoyment, and travel around, you know, short trips, and going from point A to B to C is really a third house thing. So a lot of busyness as well. That is also the third house. A lot of telephones, emails, all of that. Expect that for sure. This is squaring up to Pluto in your 12th house. So the thing that, again, here shows that old patterns, patterns that are undermining you, right? That has to do with old patterns from the past that are no longer serving you. You need to release them. You need to let go of them. You need to understand that they are no longer suiting you, and that is the transformative energy underneath it. And that can really, really help you in growing. And again, the growth for you lies in through those little things with the Taurus energy in that third house, in the communication, in the learning, in the teaching, in the traveling, and in how you deal with information as well. And that's a lovely thing. Having said this, this is your horoscope, monthly horoscope for the month of May. I would say enjoy it to the fullest. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the likes, the comments, and so on. Again, I do read all of them. And it's not because I'm not responding to it that you know, I read all of them. And if you want to have a reading or exploring a bit more or whatever, you can always email me, and it's under the description box. Thank you so much. All the best to you. See you next time.